Okay, hello everyone. Looks like I'm going to be away from school tomorrow, so I've just done this little recording for you to explain how to do the Sallust, passage 34, Catiline's plot. Here you go. Here's the translation. Pause it, and then we'll go through it together. Right, first bit. Postremo ubi nihil procedit Russus in tempesta nocte conjurationis principes convocat per Marcus or Marcum Porcium Laicam. This first sentence is rather long, so I've broken it up into different clauses. So, postremo, finally, ubi, literally when nothing came of it, when no progress was made, Russus, again, in tempesta nocte, at the dead of night, in the dead of night it says, conjurationis principes. I look at that and I think, right, what case are these in? Conjurationis, is ending, it's going to be genitive. Principes could be nominative, could be accusative. In this case, it's probably accusative, so it's convocat. Let's find our verb. He calls together the principes, the leaders of the conspiracy, per Marcum, at the house of Marcus Porcius Laicum. So again, finally, when no progress was made, he again, in tempesta nocte, in the dead of night, convocat, calls together the leaders of the conspiracy at the house of Marcus Porcius Laicam. Ibique multa de ignavia eorum questus, docet se manlium praemississe ad eam multitudinem quam paraverat. And there, ibique, and there, multa de ignavia eorum questus. Questus, perfect active participle. From quero, I complain. So questus, having complained, multa, many things, de ignavia, about the cowardliness, eorum, of those men. That doesn't sound very good, so let's change it around a little bit. Having made many complaints about their cowardliness, docet, he says, here we'll say rather he tells them, or he says, that he, I notice that docet, in this case meaning he tells, let's look for an accusative, which we have in se, let's look for an infinitive, which we have in praemississe. It's an indirect statement. He says that he, praemississe, from praemito, I send forward, that he has sent out Manlius, ad eam multitudinem, to that group, quam, relative pronoun in the accusative, which he had prepared. Item alios in alia loca opportuna, qui initium belli facerent, seque ad exercitum proficisci cupere, Cyprius Ciceronem oppressiset. And others, alios, along with others item in the same way, in alia, into other, loca opportuna, into other appropriate positions. Qui facerent. So qui could be the relative pronoun, but with the subjunctive here, it's actually really taking the form of a purpose clause with the relative pronoun qui. So, and he sent other men into appropriate positions, qui, to literally make the beginning of a war, to start a fight. And que, of the seque, and that he, it's still part of this indirect statement, still the accusative infinitive, and that he, cupere, was wanting, proficisci, to set forth, to set out, ad exercitum, to the army, Cyprius Ciceronem oppressiset, if he could first cut off Cicero. See here a conditional contrary to fact here, hence with the pluperfect subjunctive, Cyprius Ciceronem oppressiset, if he could first cut off Cicero. Igitur per teritis ac dubitantibus ceteris Gaius Cornelius eques Romanus operam suam policitus, et cum eo Lucius Vargunteus senator. Igitur, therefore, per teritis ac dubitantibus ceteris, with the others, per teritis, terrified, two ablative absolutes here, one perfect passive participle, one present participle, with the others terrified and dubitantibus, hesitating. I've said here with the others terrified and hesitant, I think it sounds a bit better. Gaius Cornelius and eques Romanus, a Roman knight. Policitus, it says in the bit at the bottom, we put in the est. We know that sometimes Roman authors leave out the est. So he promised suam operam, literally his own work, but I've said his support. Et, and with him, Lucius Vargunteus, the senator. Okay, this next bit. Constituere ea nocte Paulo post cum armatis hominibus secuti salutatum introire ad Ciceronem ac domi suae imperatum confodere. They decided, constituere. We've got here the historic infinitive. They decided, ea nocte, that very night, on that night, paulo post, a little while later, cum armatis hominibus, with armed men. Now let's look for the verb introire, to, I suppose we could say, to go with the armed men, to go to the house of Cicero, to go to Cicero, sicuti, as if to pay their respects to him, as if to, we talked about in the system of patronage, to perform their salutatio, as if to pay their respects to him, ac, and to confodere, and to stab him, imperatum, unaware, domi suae, in his own home, locative there, in his own home. Let's start that bit again, because it was a long sentence. They decided that very night, time when ablative, a little while later, to introire, to go with armed men, to Cicero, sicuti salutatum, as if to pay their respects, ac, and to confodere, and to stab him to death, imperatum, unprepared, unaware, domi suae, in his own home. Curios ubi intellegit quantum periculum consuli impendeat, propere Cicerone dolum qui parabator enuntiat, ita illi janua prohibiti tantum facinus frustra susceperant. Curious, ubi, when he intellegit, when he understood. I see understood, and I'm thinking it's a verb of saying or thinking. So I'm going to look for an accusative, or I'm going to look for an accusative infinitive, which is going to come later on. But when he understood quantum, what great danger was impendeat, literally was impending, was, what did we say, was threatening. I've said the consul, literally was threatening for the consul. Quantum here, what great danger, impendeat is subjunctive. Why? Because it is an indirect question. What danger is threatening? That's a direct question. He understood what great danger was threatening. Is going to be an indirect question. So when he understood what great danger was threatening the consul, he propere, he quickly enuntiat, announced Cicerone to Cicero, dolum, the plan, which parabator was being prepared. So I looked at that bit and I mistook, because I saw a verb of saying or thinking, that intellegit was going to be followed by an indirect statement. I was wrong, because of course it was followed by an indirect question. He understood what great danger was threatening the consul. He propere, he quickly enuntiat, announced to Cicero the plan which was afoot, the plan which parabator, third person imperfect passive, which was being prepared. Ita illi, in this way, illi, those men, prohibiti, perfect passive participle in the nominative plural, having been locked out of the door, having been locked out by the door, having been prevented by the door, but having been locked out of the door, susceperant, had taken on facinus, the crime, tantum, only, frustra, in vain. So, as I said, my apologies, I need to stay home tomorrow, but you have got this rather wonderful little Cicero translation to work through, and we'll go through it, or we'll go through it on Friday, but you will have worked out yourselves how to do it, hopefully with the aid of this little presentation. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow.